everyone, and welcome back to episode 57 of Sooner Girl Sports Pod. I have a great interview for you this week with Taylor Robertson, our former Hooper standout, who is now playing in Germany as we speak. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear my conversation with Taylor. But before we get there, let's run through Sooner headlines of the week and a couple of housekeeping items I wanted to go through. And as always, let's start off by thanking my sponsors. Marvin's Place, a fine art gallery and listening room located in the Depot District in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Come experience amazing artwork, and on Friday nights, visit the listening room, an intimate and unplugged venue. We host singer and songwriters on Friday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. You can relax with a glass of wine or craft beer and enjoy some wonderful music. You can find out more about them on their social media or on their website at marvinsplace.gallery. Also, Therapy to Go in Ardmore, the funnest place in town to drive through and get a drink. You don't even have to get out of your car. They have a large variety of spirits as well as fountain drinks and snacks. Go through and tell Melissa, Allison, and the crew that Sooner Girl Sports Pod sent you for a free gift. Also, another shout out this week for my friends Sonia and Robin at HGX Graphic and Signs, your full service one-stop shop for signs, wraps, apparel, and marketing. Robin designed my logos. Sonia runs my merch store for the podcast. They helped me get everything ready for my 1 year celebration that I had last week. They donated for giveaways, and I could not do this without them. I am so thankful for their continued support. And if you are in need of any graphic designs or marketing merch, you can hit them up at hgxsigns.com. You guys, I woke up last week and had no voice. And it was about 2 days before my big celebration. And I was just like, I cannot believe that this is happening. I was thankful that I had recorded my podcast for the week. So I do have a little lingering laryngitis type situation going on here. So I do apologize for any issues that may cause during recording this week. But I want to give a huge shout out, thank you, recognition, all the things to every single person who played a part in celebrating for my 1 year celebration of the podcast. I had it at Coach's Corner in Norman this past Thursday, and it was an awesome turnout. I had coaches and athletes come through the door. I don't want to leave anyone out, but Coach Mark Williams, the men's gymnastics coach, came. Coach Thomas, the track coach, Coach Anna Bears, track coach Peyton Verhulst, and Beatrice Colleton, my sweet basketball girls. I had them on the show back in November and December. They came through the party as well. I also had Sammy Rizzo, our featured twirler, and a whole table of softball royalty at my party. Starting off with Riley Boone, four-time national champion, Whitney Messy, who is a softball turf manager. She was on the pod last spring. Amber Flores, former Sooner and current OKC Spark head coach, as well as the coach of the Seminole State College softball team. And Britt Williams, who also is a former softball player. I was in complete awe of the people who took the time from their schedule to come out and join my party. Julie Dobbs Burbank, also softball royalty. Her husband, who is a former OSU baseball and basketball player. They were on my podcast last summer as well. I had so many friends from all of my walks of life. So shout out to my TikTok crew, Ashley, Tony, Joe Sooner, Amanda. I just met these guys just a little over a week ago, and they came out and supported my party, and I could not be more grateful. I also had lifelong friends in the room for 25 plus years, college roommates telling stories on me, all kinds of stuff. Truly had the most amazing time. Also, shout out to Dr. John Otto, a veterinarian in the Norman area. He connected me with Kelly Maxwell, who I have recorded an episode with, and her episode will be coming in the next month or so. Him and his wife, Patty, came by. Dr. David Surratt, Vice President of Student Affairs, came by. My friend Barb came all the way down from Tulsa. I wanted to thank my best friend Karen, who came all the way from Abilene, Texas, to come to my party as well. I had her on the podcast last summer. She was my very first Crimson Chronicles episode. She's been highly supportive of me from day one. And of course, my husband, Eric, who is a poke. He's made several appearances on the podcast as well, but I couldn't do any of this without him. And I just want to take a minute to thank all of these people. I had people who drove up from my hometown to Norman to be there with me and celebrate. And it truly means more than you know. Had a fantastic red velvet cake with my logo on it. Has some fantastic cookies made by Becky Jones, cookies and cakes as well. Just an awesome turnout. And I want to give a shout out again to Corey and Terry, the owners of Coach's Corner. Corey is a former football player from the early 90s, and they are co-owners at Coach's Corner. If you have not been there in Norman, I highly recommend get out and check it out. You won't be disappointed. Everything they have is so delicious. And again, just thank you to everyone. So many members of my locker room came by. My ladies, thank you so much. I had people supporting me from near and far, sending messages for the guest book for those who couldn't attend, and it truly means more than you know. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. I'm sure that I am, but I could go on all day about that party. It was incredible. I posted lots of photos of all of my guests and everything on my social media, so I do hope that you will go and check it out. I also was going to say that I spent the weekend in Norman after the party, Friday and Saturday, attending track meet, men's gym, women's gym, and tennis. I got to see my girl Iba Kubakova, who was on the show back in December, watched her run on Friday, saw Maggie Mullings throw her shot put. Maggie and her husband, who is a Jamaican Olympian, Ralford Mullings, they will be on the show. I've already recorded with them, and their episode is coming out in spring. So women's gym, Hannah Shibley, I have chatted with her and will be talking with her on the podcast after gymnastics season is over. Also, Bruno Naveen, I went to see and support our men's tennis squad. Bruno was on the show last summer, and I love hearing his story, just getting out and support the guys that don't have family to come out and watch them play. Also, shout out to Coach Mark Williams. Again, he did come by my party. I was so glad to see him. And the men's gymnastics team Saturday night, Fuzzy Bennis, got to meet him and snap a photo before the meet. I also ran into Danae Fletcher, who I had on the podcast back in December. I also got to meet Jordan Bowers and Jake Dalton, who are former OU gymnasts, and Jake is a former Olympian as well. Invited them to be on the podcast, so fingers crossed that that works out down the road. Just a remarkable weekend. I'm very exhausted still. 3 full days of nothing but Sooner sports, but I enjoyed it tremendously. I'm so thankful for the VIP treatment from Coach Thomas at the track meet and just getting to see all my kiddos and for them giving me the time. It was just such a fun weekend. I hope that you'll go check out all of my posts about it on social media. I love giving these kids the flowers and the shout outs that they deserve, the attention that they deserve, and the platform in which to do so. And I thank you all for listening and giving me the opportunity to do it. Also, one more big thing. I have partnered with Josh from the OU Ticket Office to offer discounted tickets to my listeners and followers for the OU LSU Women's Gymnastics Meet next Friday, February the 20th at 7:30 p.m. Pack the LNC. It's a number 1, number 2 matchup of the last 2 national champions, and we need to fill up the LNC and be loud. I will put the link in my show notes. It's also on my social media, and I will share it again as well to get those discounted tickets starting at only $7. And again, thank you to Josh for reaching out to me to partner with him to promote this event. I am happy to do anything I can to help pack the LNC, make it loud for our women's gym next Friday night. Again, I will put that link in the show notes and on my social media. If you have any trouble finding the link, shoot me a message. I am happy to help you at Sooner Girl Pod on all platforms. Make sure you give me a follow. Okay, now for the Sooner headlines of the week. Just last week, in case you missed it, the Rock Creek Entertainment District has announced it will be moving forward as planned in Norman. The Oklahoma Supreme Court ruled that the gist of the petition was insufficient. This means that OU men's and women's basketball, as well as women's gymnastics, will soon have a new home in Norman. The arena is far from campus for the 3 major sports. Also, seating capacity reduction to only 8,000. It is an insane reduction compared to other SEC venues, but shrinking the venues seems to be the going trend these days. I did look up capacity for all the other SEC venues, and they range anywhere from 12 to 19,000. So you can take that for what it's worth. I have mixed feelings on it. I am not saying the LNC shouldn't be upgraded or things don't need to be done to it, but brand new venue on the north side of Norman, pretty far from campus, obviously, reduced capacity. Those are the main bullet points. And the original plan was for the 2028 season, I believe. I'm not sure that that's going to be on schedule as of now. OU is expected to hire former Clemson and NFL defensive tackle Deshaun Williams as an analyst role per Sooner Scoop. Williams played at Clemson with Coach Venables from 2011 to 2014 and recently retired from the NFL. He was a 3-year starter for the Broncos. On to basketball, NBA. Welcome back Austin Reeves, who is back on the roster from being on IR for a couple of months for a calf injury. He did come out initially restricted, but has picked up right where he left off. Also, Buddy Hield, former Sooner, was traded from the Golden State Warriors to the Atlanta Hawks. Our men's basketball team played at Kentucky last Wednesday night and suffered a 94-78 loss. Had pretty early momentum but could not sustain. Per usual, former OU guard that now plays for Kentucky, Otega Owe, played a key role again for the third time now since we've played them in their win, scoring 24 points on 7 of 11 shooting. We then faced number 15 Vandy on the road this past Saturday, and you're not going to believe what happened. Top 15 road win for our Oklahoma Sooners over Vandy, 92-91, a dominant 35-minute performance, plus another 5 minutes of surviving. They held a 15 to 20 point lead the entire game until the last few minutes. Then they let them come almost all the way back, and we only come out scraping with that 1 point win, but a win is a win. We will take it, especially a top 15 win on the road like that. Xavier Brown, 20 points. Nigel Pack, 17 points, 4 assists. Tay Davis, 14 points, 5 rebounds. Dayton had 12 points and 2 assists. Darion Reed, 11 points, 3 rebounds. Mo Wagee, 10 points, 8. Jadon Jones, 8 points, 2 rebounds. Jeff Nwaku, 2 rebounds and a steal. And Kirill, the White Russian, 2 rebounds and 1 steal for him. We have the week off. We sit at a 12-12 record, 2-9 in conference. Then we are hosting Georgia at the LNC Saturday on Valentine's Day. So get out and support our guys. We are enjoying right now our first win in 35 days after suffering that 9-game losing streak. So we are going to bask in that win just a little bit longer. Our women have had a week off, and they are playing tonight as I'm recording this on Monday, February the 9th. They do hit the road to play Vandy, so be sure and check social media for updates on that. They are number 10 in the latest poll. They are staying pretty steady. A great road win against a Vandy team would be a wonderful mark on the resumes for the rest of the season. Our women's gymnastics, number 1 ranked Sooners, we took down number 4 Alabama, 198.2 to 197.475. We had 5 scores higher than 9-9 on bars. Big difference from last week where the highest score was a 9-9. Lily Peterson had a stellar night, 2 season high scores on bar and beam for her. We then faced Arizona, Arkansas, and Texas Women's University this past Sunday at the Fort Worth Convention Center. Mackenzie Eastep was the very first freshman to score a perfect 10 this season. So you ended up winning that quad meet, 198-175. Arkansas was second with a 197.7, Arizona 195.825, and Texas Women's University 195.025. Again, next up at the Lloyd Noble Center is Friday 20th against number 2 LSU. I have those discounted tickets for you starting at only $7. We want to pack the LNC and be loud. Again, I will put the link in the show notes for the discounted tickets. It's also on my social media at Sooner Girl Pod on all socials. If you need help finding it, shoot me a message. I'm happy to pass the link along. Our men's team, guys, I have told you, do not sleep on this men's team. Number 1 team ranking. Our week 5 rankings, we're number 2 on the floor, number 3 on rings, number 2 on parallel bars, number 1 on the pommel, number 2 on vault, and number 1 on high bar. We have several athletes ranked all across every event in the top 5. Do not sleep on our men's gymnastics. It is free admission to see them in McCaslin, and your next opportunity to see them is on February the 28th. And so make plans to get out and support them. Leo Kaoki is the MPSF Conference Gymnast of the Week for this past week, and Fuzzy Bennis is the MPSF Conference Specialist of the Week, as well as CGA National Specialist of the Week. And Fuzzy's episode of the podcast is coming up next week on February 18th. You won't want to miss my conversation with him. We have 6 current, former, and future Sooners who have qualified for the Winter Cup, the U.S. National Team qualifying event, February 21st through 22nd in Louisville. Fuzzy Bennis is one of those. Sasha Boganosiuk, Yoel Mulder, former Sooner, Dante Riave, Nathan Roman, and Hunter Simpson. Now, Dante Riave is a future Sooner. He has pre-qualified, but he is not planning to compete. Our guys did host this past weekend number 13 Air Force, number 3 Ohio State University in the McCaslin Fieldhouse. That was the meet that I went to. It was so much fun. Our highest scoring floor rotation of the season, also the highest overall score of the season so far, 328.650 win over 317.7 of Ohio State and 303.050 from Air Force. Fuzzy Bennis won the floor title exercise, and the high bar sophomore Colby Aranda won the pommel horse with a career high score. Junior Tyler Flores and freshman Sasha Boganosiuk shared the vault title, and OU won 5 team events, earned second place on vault, and our scores on floor, pommel, rings, vault, and high bar were all team highs for the season. We are now undefeated against our last 79 regular season opponents, encompassing a 66 consecutive regular season meets inside of McCaslin Fieldhouse dating back to 2007. His only defeat in the Fieldhouse during that time frame was the 2024 MPSF Championship when it finished second to Stanford. Oklahoma is off next weekend before Bennis and Boganosiuk and freshman Nathan Roman take part in the Winter Cup, and then we'll return to McCaslin Fieldhouse on February 28th to face number 5 Nebraska, which will be a fantastic meet. Nebraska is Coach Mark Williams' alma mater, so that will be a fantastic meet to attend. It is free to get out and support our men's gymnastics. So mark your calendars. If you are a fan of the Diamond Sports, your time has come. Baseball first pitch coming up this weekend on Friday. Shriners Classic this weekend in Arlington at Globe Life. Friday, 11 a.m. against Texas Tech. Saturday, Bedlam against Oklahoma State at 3 p.m. and TCU on Sunday at 6:30. For our baseball guys. I will be there. I cannot wait to kick off baseball season. And softball fans, we had a roller coaster of a weekend for sure. First pitch was on Thursday evening against Arizona State in Tempe. We had that great opening day win, 2-1 over Arizona State. Lowry pitched 5.2 innings, only had 1 hit and 1 earned run. Molly Guccino closed out. Freshman catcher Kendall Wells hit a 2-run homer at the top of the 6th to secure that win. That Arizona State pitcher was incredible. Also, loved this stat from Seth Oliveras on Twitter. He said, don't sleep on the fact that the Sooners held ASU to 1 of 22 at the plate in their own stadium. That kind of average is exactly what you want on defense. Incredible performance there by our pitching staff. Shout out to Audrey Lowry. Friday night, we came out in Tucson and we went down in game 1 of that 3-game series at the Matt Kendrea Classic. Arizona seized control super late in the game and we just could not recover due to walks and a grand slam. We got beat 11-6. Started out with some homers from Gabby, Cassidy Pickering, Alyssa Parker, some bad pitching calls. Several pitchers saw the circle, but we had a great bounce back on Saturday. Sooners took game 2, 21-3. An elite response. Audrey Lowry again, elite through 3 appearances. 0.78 ERA, 9 innings pitched, 2-0 record, 3 Ks. Incredible showing by Audrey Lowry this past weekend. We had a 5-run first inning and a 10-run fourth inning in that game. 7 home runs. Ella Parker had 2, Alyssa Parker, Cassidy Pickering, Gabby Garcia, Kai Miner, Lexi McDaniel, 21 hits. We also had freshman Berkeley Zake in the circle, so it was great to see her get some action as well. Sooners took the series as they won game 3 of the rubber match on Sunday, and we now sit at 4-1 after that 5-4 victory over number 18 Arizona. What a game that was. Incredible. Kendall Wells, Gabby Garcia coming up clutch and back-to-back home runs in the top of the 7th. Garcia had 2 solo home runs. Audrey Lowry, again, stellar, now sitting at 3-0, 5.2 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, 3 Ks. Just exceptional bounce back and resilience by our softball team. So excited for the season with our girls. Next up this weekend in New Mexico, starting Friday morning at 11 a.m. Also, another big headline for softball in case you missed it. Our longtime pitching coach, Jen Rocha, will be away from the team from an undetermined period of time due to a health matter. Sooner alumni and former student assistant Carly Keeney has been hired as the interim coach. If you did not hear how that went down, it all happened very, very quick. Kinsey Hansen and Kobe McKenzie got married on Saturday, January 31st. That was just about 10 days ago. Carly Keeney was at that wedding. That was the day what Coach Gasso and Jen Rocha had a conversation, decided that they needed to do something for her replacement. Patty called Tiara Jennings, who's at the wedding with Carly Keeney, said, hey, tell Carly we need her in Norman. Tell her to come back with you. She did. Then Carly flew back home, got her stuff together, flew out to Arizona, and met the team for a 4-game opening weekend. So welcome back to Norman, Carly Keeney. Thank you so much for dropping everything and coming to Oklahoma. Clearly, that shows how much the program and Coach Gasso and Coach Rosa mean to her. And it's just incredible the amount of talent that we have at our disposal with this program. And obviously, our thoughts and well wishes and many prayers go up to Coach Jen Rocha. Again, we do not know any details on her illness. I'm not going to speculate. The girls were wearing a certain color of ribbon in their hair this weekend. Every game, some have speculated that that may be a hint as to what they are facing. We don't know that for sure. We send all of our love to Coach Rocha. She is much loved and respected by Sooner Nation, and we wish her the best. And we hope to see her back on the diamond soon. Soccer has their spring schedule out now, and you have 5 opportunities to see our Sooners. There are 3 chances in Norman and a couple in Dallas for our DFW Sooners. So be sure and check out that spring soccer schedule to get out and support the girls. I interviewed soccer player Ali Lassanoli. Her episode is coming up here in the next couple of months, so you guys won't want to miss out on that. Our wrestling team sits at number 18 in the team rankings still, with several individual rankings, including Conrad Hendrickson, Tyler Wells, Peyton Carter, Schubert, Brian Saldano, DJ Parker, and Juan Mora. Our Sooners had a 31-9 win over Arizona State on Senior Day this past Sunday in McCaslin. 7 of 10 bouts, including 3 by bonus points, over Arizona State. Prior to the match, Oklahoma honored 9 seniors, including Brian Saldano, Christian Forbes, DJ Parker, Eli Cordy, Jacob Zimmer, Juan Mora, Caden Smith, Mannix Morgan, and Peyton Keller. Shout out to my guy, DJ Parker, who is one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet. Had him on the podcast back in December. Be sure you go back and give that one a listen. The Sooner Wrestling Squad hits the road to face number 20 Missouri in a midweek showdown on February the 12th, which is on Thursday. So if you're listening to this the day that it drops, the following day, Thursday, is our next wrestling duel. Huge milestone for our main guy in charge for men's tennis. Congrats to Coach Nick Kroll on surpassing 150 wins as a head coach. Our men are sitting at a number 10 team ranking, and we have several singles rankings as well and double rankings, including my guy Bruno Naveen. Had him on the podcast last summer. Was able to go and watch tennis this past weekend on Friday and Saturday. Check the schedule, guys. There's some great weather coming up this spring. Indoor, outdoor facilities, free to get in. Support our tennis girls and guys. Lots of opportunities to do so at home. If you see my guy Bruno, be sure you go up to him and tell him that you are a listener of Sooner Girl Sports Pod and go back and check out his episode. He is one of the nicest humans. Our tennis guys did win in Tulsa last week, 4-0. Shout out to my friend Boomer Barb, who lives in Tulsa, who got out to support the tennis squad as they played last Wednesday night and sent me a photo with my guy Bruno. I love it. I love to see my people getting out and supporting OU athletics, catching those athletes that they've heard on the podcast and telling them that I sent you. It really truly means a lot to me, and I know that it means a lot to them. So thank you, Boomer Barb, for supporting the podcast and supporting our Sooners. Next up for our guys in Norman, Saturday, February 21st versus South Carolina, and the 23rd, Ole Miss in Norman, and also Vandy in Norman on Friday the 27th. So several chances coming up this month to get out and support our guys at home. Also, shout out to our women's tennis, the number 6 women's team. 8-0 advanced to the quarterfinal of the ITA National Indoor Championships with a 4-3 win over number 18 Texas on Friday afternoon. It marked the 4th time the Sooners had reached the quarterfinals of the National Indoor since their appearance in 2022. However, unfortunately, they did lose to Texas A&M on Saturday 2-4. But next up for our girls, another chance to get out and see them in Norman on February 22nd against Air Force in Arkansas, and also on 26th against Auburn. Want to give a shout out to Julia Garcia Ruiz, ranked number 12 in singles. Also, Chloe Noel is ranked. We have several doubles players ranked as well. I interviewed Julia Garcia Ruiz. Her episode of the podcast is coming this spring. Also, track and field. Again, shout out to my friend, Coach James Thomas, who is the head coach. Also, Coach Anna Beards, who is the distance coach for our track and field, came out to my party this past week. I have really gotten to know those two, and they're such great people that our athletes truly look up to. They gave us the VIP treatment as I attended my second track meet ever in the Mosier Indoor Facility this past Friday. And so much fun just watching these kids and supporting them and learning about these sports, supporting our Sooners. There is nothing like it. Free to get out and support our Sooner track. Outdoor season will be upon us soon. There will be a couple opportunities to get out and support them. So make sure you check their schedule and do that. A few shout outs for our track and field squad. BJ Green is our co-SEC field athlete of the week. Last week, men's high jump is number 1 ranked, and men's indoor track is number 6. I want to give a shout out to Gabby Barrera. In her season debut, she had to fight hard to get her indoor eligibility, and she did it. Here we are halfway through the season, but she took the title with a record time in her season debut. So shout out to Gabby Barrera on her debut in indoor track. Also, the men's weight through. Number 2 Sooners improved their mark in the school record book, Brendan C. and Connor Jones. Also, the women's weight throw. Kennedy Clark did it again. She improved her mark at number 1 in school history in the women's weight throw. And that is good for number 14 in the nation. Also, titles in both the men's and women's 600. Carlos Tello and Gladys Davis Mumbai led their way in their respective events. Women's pole vault, freshman Lily Samansky cleared a personal best and number 10 in school history. Sophomore Nicholas Chu posted a personal best time for 3rd in the men's 60-meter finals. Men's high jump, Julian McCullough takes first with his clearance. And women's shot put, redshirt sophomore Tylee Dotson tossed for 2nd place. Junior Maggie Mullins followed just behind in 3rd place. Women's 600-yard run, a Sooner takeover with Gladys David Mumbai, Jada Atkinson, and Nia Parks. And then we also finished 4th place with Jane Watkins. Men's shot put, Andrew Heinig notched a 1st place finish. And next week, our track and field crew hit the road to the Tyson Invitational in Fayetteville, Arkansas, February 13th. And a small group of our distance athletes will compete in the Husky Classic in Seattle, Washington on February 13th and 14th as well. Also, on to golf. Shout out to former Sooner Chris Goddard for winning the Phoenix Open. And shout out to our women's golf number 6 ranking as they finished 5th place in the Paradise Invitational last week in Boca Raton, Florida. We also had several players finish in the top 50 ranking. Gracie Mayo, Savannah Barber, Audrey Risher, Michaela Tyrell, Ellison Lundquist, and Meg Tilma. Also, next up for our girls in Sarasota, Florida on February 15th and 16th is the Spartan Suncoast Invitational. And our men's golf team is currently playing in the Puerto Rico Classic as I record this. They are playing in it Monday through Wednesday, so by the time this episode drops, they will be playing in the last day of that. So be sure and check social media for an update, and I will give an update on next week's show. For my Sooner MVP of the week, I am going to give that honor this week to each one of you, to all of my listeners, all of my supporters, coaches, athletes, whoever you are. If you have supported me in any way by purchasing merch, showing up at my party, signing a guest book, sharing the episode with a friend, following me on social media, sharing it with somebody, whatever you have done, you have truly made an impact on my journey, my project here with this podcast, and my life. And I truly am eternally grateful. And I cannot thank you enough. And for that, this week's Sooner MVP of the week goes to each and every one of you. So thank you again. And now to end this segment with the Sooner Fun Fact of the week. OU women's track and field sprinter Kennedy Blackman took 2nd place in the 100 meters at the 2020 Outdoor Track and Field Champs held at the University of Texas. She recorded a time of 10.87 seconds. So again, thank you all so much for your overwhelming support. I cannot thank you enough. Please go and follow me on all social media at Sooner Girl Pod. Sign up for my newsletter on Substack. Purchase some merch, soonergirl.bigcartel.com. Ladies, join the Locker Room. You won't want to miss it. We have our next online huddle coming up this week. If you are interested in advertising or sponsoring the show, you can shoot me an email at soonergirlsportspod@gmail.com. My link tree is my link in bio across all of my social media. Everything I just mentioned is linked there. Please let me know if you need me to send it to you. Just shoot me a message. On to this week's guest with the amazing Taylor Robertson. I have always loved Taylor. I reached out to her on Instagram to come on the show, and I'm so thankful that she did. She is definitely a friend for sure. Taylor, also known as T-Rob from McPherson, Kansas, high school state champion in 2018, OU women's basketball number 30 for 5 years, and a 2023 Big 12 champion. She broke the NCAA record for threes in a career with 537, which now sits in second place. She's the Big 12 and OU record for threes in a career and a season. She is the Battle for Atlantis all-tournament team member. She played professional basketball in Germany for 1 year, and now she's back for more in Germany. She does trick shots for fun on TikTok. She became a Sooner fan from her dad. He was a big Sooner fan, and her room has been painted crimson since she was 6 years old. Her favorite Sooner memory is winning the Big 12 title and celebrating with her teammates, also breaking the NCAA record and getting to meet Steph Curry, hitting a buzzer beater 3 to beat K-State. And there's just so many fun memories that she discusses in our episode. You can find Taylor on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And I will tag all of this in the show notes, and I will tag her on social media throughout the week as well. I hope you guys enjoy my fun conversation with the amazing Taylor Robertson, and I will see you next week where we talk sports. I really appreciate you coming on and giving me part of your time today. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Of course, I'm excited too.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while since your OU days are gone, but you were always one of my favorites. So when I reached out to you, I again am very thankful that you decided to come on. So tell me a little bit. We can start wherever you would like, however far back you want to go, but just how your love for basketball came about and how you ended up at OU.
As you can kind of see, I have a BOSU from one of the games I went to. My room is crimson and cream. It's been that way since I was about 6 years old.
I love it.
My dad was a huge OU fan. My dad's dad was also a huge OU fan, so it kind of got passed down. I've always loved basketball, and my dad kind of did that with me. And he didn't really push OU. He didn't push anything. It was always just, let's get better. Everything will come. Not worried about anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, it's kind of hard when OU calls to say no, even though it was never, oh, if they call, I'm going to say yes right away. Like I still thought about it, went through all the options, make sure that that was best for me and what I wanted to do. But
for sure,
it worked out pretty well.
I think so.
I would say.
That's really awesome. Well, it's funny that you have that sign. I can't wait to show that to my husband. He is actually an OSU grad. And
no.
Yeah, so we are a house divided. We have some fun with it, of course, because we have to. But we have a lot of bedlam stuff in our house. I'm like you. I grew up with crimson and cream everything, and we hate all things orange.
Yep.
And everything is OU related and sports related, and so it's very comical that I ended up with the Pope, but
it's kind of funny.
It really is. It really is. Well, you had a great career at OU. You broke some records, had a lot of great memories. So tell me a little bit about your favorite memory and then just your personal accomplishments as well.
For sure, my favorite has to be winning the Big 12. That was something that we kind of set out to do when we first got there, even though it was a little rocky at first. Each year we kind of got a little bit better. Our same core stayed together, so it was even cooler that we were able to do it with the people that kind of started it. And just because now it's so crazy with all the people going new places and new faces everywhere. So it was really cool to do it with the original group.
Yes, that is really cool. Well, I remember when you guys won that championship. And again, yes, it was a very special memory and just a great time. And I remember when you broke the scoring record and when you got to meet Steph Curry and all of those fun things. So I can't imagine what that was like for you. That had to have been a true fangirl moment as far as Steph Curry is concerned, for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. I was so nervous doing that. It was really cool. I was told that they, like right before that, after the game, because we got stuck in Ames, I think, because of weather, because it's at Iowa State. We were hanging out in one of the hangars at the airport one of the guys comes over and's like, "Man, we tried to get Steph to like do something for you or like to reach out or something. We couldn't get him." And then it was like the joke was, "What if we got Seth, his brother?" And I was like, that would
Oh,
actually still be cool and be funny.
absolutely.
But like
Yeah.
then I didn't find out until the next day after our practice, and I was speechless. I didn't even know what to say or what to think. It was just so cool. I was really nervous going to the Oklahoma City and Warriors game,
Yes.
but that was a night that I'll never forget for sure.
Absolutely. That is so cool. Well, okay, so you broke the NCAA record for threes in a career. And so are you now, there's somebody that beat that, so you're now in second place, is that correct?
Yes, Caitlin Clark
Okay.
got it.
Okay. I was going to say, was it
Yep.
Caitlin?
Yep, of course. If
Okay.
anyone was going to break it, I knew it was going to be her.
Well, honestly, if anybody's going to quote upstage you, at least it was her, and that is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for
Yeah,
sure.
good
So
company.
absolutely, that is excellent company to be in as well. And she's really fun to watch. I got to see her last year in Dallas, 2024, her first season when she came and played the Dallas Wings. But this past season, I actually tried to see her twice, and that did not work because obviously, unfortunately, she was injured. But she's
Yeah,
quite the player to watch.
yeah, really fun
So
to watch.
she really is. She really is. Okay, well, so tell me a little bit about the Battle for Atlantis. I know you guys played there a couple times, and that's a pretty common tournament that people hear about in the non-conference season. So tell me a little bit about that. Like maybe what's some of your favorite memories of going there?
I think that was along my teammates can also attest to this, but that was one of our favorite trips that we had as a team. It was Coach Jenny's first season at
Uh
OU,
huh.
so it was really fun. Just everybody's new, a lot of new faces. Just really
Yes.
exciting to be able to one of our first real road trips,
Oh
and we were there
yeah.
for a few days. Got to play some good teams. I think we played Oregon, Buffalo, and then Minnesota.
Oh wow.
I think that was, I mean, I loved playing there because I always watched that tournament on TV. So it was
Yes.
really cool playing in the ballroom. It was kind of different,
Yes.
but I
Yes.
thought it was fun. I loved their gym. I shot really well there, so that's why I loved their gym. But
Yes.
I really liked playing there, so I had a great time. But the memories we made like, just off the court, running around there in Atlantis was really fun too.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's your favorite road trip, so road game. So what would be another one of your favorite venues or trips that you guys had?
My favorite place to play other than the LNC was in Morgantown at West Virginia.
Okay.
Really loved playing there. I love their gym. I think it's a shooter's gym.
Okay.
Always shot really well there. Always our team always played really well there. We kind of named it Boomer Sooner Arena
Oh,
because
I
that was
love
one
it.
place in my 5 years that we never lost. So that was kind of
Okay.
our kind of always a fun trip. It was I love playing there.
That's awesome. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Allen Fieldhouse? Because that's a place I've never gone, but it's on my list of places to go. And I know it's one that's a popular venue that a lot of basketball fans try to make it to. And obviously, Kansas, they usually have fairly decent programs. Usually, sometimes the men are a little better than the women, but regardless, it's always, I've heard, a very tough place to play. So, what are your thoughts on Allen?
For sure. I love playing there. It's really close to where I live, so it
Oh,
was always
cool.
fun
Yeah.
having lots of family and friends being able to make the trip whenever we played there.
Yeah.
Love their gym, just the history behind it. I always grew up wanting to play in that gym, whether it was as a home, playing there at
Yes.
home or away. So I'm
Yes.
glad I got to play there a couple
That's
different
awesome.
times, but it's a really cool environment.
How cool. Okay, so you played for Coach Sherry Cole and Coach Jenny, which I'm certainly not asking you to compare the two because I know they're both great in their own way and both exceptional coaches. But I actually interviewed Coach Sherry. I got to meet her a month ago, and what an incredible human she is.
Yeah,
She talked a lot about coaching during COVID, which again, no one expected or really knew how to handle that and all of the challenges that came with that. So, do you have any thoughts or anything you want to share as far as that goes? During the time of COVID, Coach Cole talked a lot about. I think you guys may have traveled to Kansas, is what she said, but it was somewhere she talked about how you guys only had like 5 or 6 players
yep.
and just a lot of challenges like that. So any thoughts or anything you have on that time frame, I would love to hear because that was an interesting time for sure.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it was even crazier trying to practice, and
Oh
then
yeah.
we had a couple different injuries. We had
Mm-hmm.
just some things with COVID that knocked people out. So
Yep.
the first time we played with 6 players was the Kansas trip,
Okay, that's
and
what I was
we
thinking. She said.
almost got them at KU, but unfortunately we could not pull it out with only 6 of us. But it was just crazy because a lot of times we wouldn't even be able to practice because we don't have enough bodies. We don't have
Yeah.
enough. We can't even play 5-on-5. We can play 3-on-3.
Wow.
But when
Wow.
we play with 6 people in a game, we have a couple games a week. We can't run around for 2 or 3 hours every day at practice and then
Right.
everybody play 40 minutes in the game. So
Yeah.
like a lot of times we would have our practices be film, shooting, and walkthroughs just so we could
Okay.
keep like our legs fresh, and because
Yes.
everybody had to play a lot of minutes,
The
which
yeah.
was real. I mean, everybody loved it. It was just so different from what we were used to,
Oh, for
just
sure.
having all the practice time and then all the extra time we could spend in the gym and together. And it was more like, okay, we got to keep our distance when
Yes.
we're walking through stuff. We didn't want to walk like be too close to somebody else in case they got COVID, so
Right.
we'd get contact traced. I mean, it
Oh,
was crazy.
what a time to be alive, right?
I know, right? It was insane.
Well, and then Coach Jenny comes in on the heels of that. I mean, there's still a lot of repercussions from COVID and all of that fun stuff when she comes in, and she has really taken the reins and taken off. And I'm a big fan of Coach Jenny. I've never met her, but I've never heard anything bad about her. And again, I don't want you to compare her to Coach Cole by any means, but what were your thoughts? I mean, going through that transition, that coaching change had to have been a hard time, an interesting time. I mean, you don't really know what's going on with that transition and who's coming in. So, talk a little bit about that and how you felt during that time.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely kind of a weird, like, few weeks or a month or so when we kind of didn't really have a coach because Coach Cole just
Mm-hmm.
retired, and then it's like, okay, we got to wait because they got to figure out who's going to come next. So it's
Yeah.
like we're working out, we're trying to do like our stuff in the weight room, like get our shots up, but it's like we don't know really exactly what to do, so we're kind of just like
Right.
waiting, seeing what we hear, but what we hear is probably not right. And then
Right.
once we finally figured it out, it was really cool because we finally heard that Coach Jenny was going to be our coach before the semester ended. So we got like 1 or 2 weeks where we could at least be in the gym a little bit with her
Yes. Oh,
before
good.
we
Yeah.
all went home in May for
Uh
like a
huh.
month. So it was good to get that like
Mm-hmm.
initial time with her before it was like, okay, see you later.
Yeah.
But it was definitely kind of hard just waiting, hanging around, but there was never from any of us there was never any doubt like of leaving or anything where it was like once we didn't know and then once we knew it was her it was never like, oh, I'm not
Right.
all in. Like
That's cool.
we all knew like we're Sooners, we're here 100% all in.
That's really cool to hear. Well, like I said, Coach Jenny, I feel like she came in and hit the ground running for a lot of reasons, but she's done a lot of great stuff at Oklahoma. And I'm excited for this coming season. I just talked to Peyton Verhulst and Beatrice Colleton. It was cool to talk to them about their hopes and dreams for this coming season, of course. But looking back at your time there with Coach Jenny and just the last few seasons with her, I believe this is her fifth season, I think.
Yeah.
Fourth or fifth. But
Yeah.
anyway, just looking back over the last few seasons with her and your time with her, she's accomplished a lot. I'm sure you agree with.
Yes.
But what are some of your favorite memories, like just with her as a coach, and just your thoughts on what she's doing with the program and going forward with the team?
Well, it's crazy to have been there from the get-go because
Uh huh.
she always said, like, with her offensive style, like how we play and like the plays that we had, that it's not really plays, it's more reads and actions that the players make. So from
Mm-hmm.
having to learn that from the beginning and then from year one to year two, seeing how it evolved and how much better we got, and then
Oh,
now
yes.
seeing it even from afar, I can still see it evolving year by year and even game by game when I watch. It just gets so much better because she always said like it's not going to be the same as it is now and in a few years, and it's going to just
Right.
keep getting a little bit better and a little bit better each year because everybody gets more familiar, more time in it, more reps. So
Very
it's really
true.
cool to see that development and to know that like me and the few others that were there, we started kind of that
Yes.
development for the first year or two, and then now that it's
Absolutely.
just kind of taken off, even they're doing it way better than we could have ever done it.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear because, like I said, she's been a lot of fun to watch the last few years, and we've seen her develop players and bring players in, and freshmen coming in, just recruiting and all of that. And of course, last year's run didn't end the way that the girls wanted, of course, but what a season they had, and look how far they've come just in, like you said, those few years. And I'm sure you knowing all that technical stuff that the rest of us can't see or understand, you could really see how far they've come in the last few years. So I'm excited about the coming season. I'm sure you feel the same way, just
Yes, me
knowing all
too.
of, yeah, knowing all that behind the scenes stuff and all the people that are still there and those coming in. So I think
Hmm.
there's a lot to look forward to with the program for sure. I've talked to several people about how difficult it is with when seasons overlap, like football and basketball overlap, and then basketball with the diamond sports, and that's always hard to try to get to all the places and be all the places.
Gonna be good, that's for sure.
I think so too. And they've got a lot of big names coming to Norman. Of course, I know everybody says, oh, Kim Mulkey and LSU are coming, and Don Staley and South Carolina are coming, and that's all great. But just watching our Sooners alone, there's a lot of big names on that roster
Yeah,
as well. But and then they've got some road tests, of course. And yeah, it's going to be a good season. I'm ready to see what they can do.
yeah, ready for the SEC, that's for
Uh,
sure.
yes. Well, and that's another thing, because you were a part of the program all through the Big 12, and so you didn't get to be a part of that transition into the SEC. But last season, I mean, they overall had a very good season considering it being their first year in a new conference, and they started out the calendar year, the conference season last year, not so great when you go back and look at it. Then they recovered so well and came back out and had an excellent season. But you didn't play in the SEC, but you know, like those teams and those players, because you were aware of the fact that they were transitioning to the SEC. So how did that go? Like when you guys found that out, did that affect your, I guess, training or mentality, so to speak, like going forward on how things people were recruited and people coming in? Like do you think people were coming in because of that, like that brought people in?
I think maybe it could have from like the outside perspective, but I know
Uh-huh.
as like our team and the staff and everything, like nothing was ever going to change like how anybody did anything or what we
Mm-hmm.
worked on because we like had the standard from the get-go where it
That makes
was
sense.
not it doesn't matter what conference we play in or who we're playing
Yes.
against. I mean, yes, we're going to have to prepare differently for the teams that are in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
But just in terms of like off season and stuff, like I think all that was the same as whether it was Big 12 or not, just because that's
That
just the
makes sense.
standard that we had there.
Yeah, okay, that makes complete sense. Well, you're thinking back on the Big 12, of course, you guys always played Texas, and that's always a rough game, regardless of your rankings or anything. And gosh,
Yeah.
I hate Texas. We all do, but I
Yeah.
can't imagine. Like, okay, I've never been to Austin, like the campus, and that's one place that I have zero desire to go because I'm pretty sure I would end up in jail or something. But what's it like? I imagine that's a pretty hostile environment in Austin. What was it like playing there? Like did you feel like it was a hostile environment?
Yeah, it was tough. They just my last year there was when they had their new gym, and that
Oh,
was
okay.
definitely a that was a tough place to play.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
I if we'd have won, I would have liked it a lot more
Yeah.
that time. But I mean, it was a good gym. I liked that gym. It was I love playing in hostile places. Like I like playing on the road, like where
Okay.
everybody's against you,
Yeah.
because then like
Yeah.
that just brings our team together more. And it's just
Yes.
fun. It's fun. I mean, of course, it's fun to play at home, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed being able to go somebody else's turf and do our thing. But
Absolutely.
I mean, I think OU likes playing there now because the last few years we've been able to win a couple there, but
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
fun place to play, even though it's difficult.
Yeah, that's a good perspective to have, is just you enjoy going into the hostile environment to do your thing and in spite of the environment. But yeah, reflecting again back on the Big 12. So Texas, obviously, and then Bedlam, of course, which thankfully I know it's a non-conference game now, but we've still been able to uphold that tradition through a couple of sports, and women's Bedlam is returning this year. So I'm super excited about
Yes.
that. Of course, like I said, my husband being a poke, we love all things Bedlam, and so if Bedlam is happening in any sport, we try to partake in it. But I am super excited for the Bedlam doubleheader this year. We've got men's and women's doubleheader at Paycom. So I'm very excited about that. I think they seem to have brought in some good players and have a good program, a newer coach as well. And so that will be fun to have that revived for sure.
That'll be really fun, especially getting to play where Thunder play. That'll be really cool.
Oh yes, oh
That'll be
yes.
an
Well,
exciting day for sure.
absolutely. Well, last year I did go see the men's Bedlam game there at Paycom, and it was a really cool experience. And I'm sure for the players as well, just playing on that court and being in that bigger arena and that atmosphere, pretty cool. But yeah, I'm excited to get that doubleheader this year for sure. So I'm thinking back too about other Big 12 teams. So Baylor, so you guys played against Baylor when Ken Mulkey was there, and they were a very good team. If I remember correctly, they made it pretty deep in the tournament. I want to say they made it to the championship game at some point during your
Yep.
college time. Okay, but they were always or have grown to become a team that was fun to watch and good players. And so, and did you guys have, I might have made this up too, or it may have been the men, did you guys have like a travel mishap going to Baylor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I thought,
did.
okay, I thought it was the women, but I was like, maybe I'm confused. Okay, so
Yes.
what happened with that? Because I remember it happening, but I don't remember all the details.
Okay, so we were supposed to take a plane the same because
Mm-hmm.
we did a lot of same day travel. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
we were supposed to play 6 or 7. I can't remember,
Mm-hmm.
but our
Yeah.
like we had our shoot around at the LNC like we usually do, and then
Mm-hmm.
we were gonna have like about an hour between to like get something to eat, get our stuff together, and then we were gonna drive to the airport to get on the plane and go.
Uh-huh.
So we finished our shoot around. We're kind of just all hanging out in the locker room. Some people leave, go do their game day things, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and is like, get your stuff. We're gonna bus. We gotta leave right now.
Oh
And it was
crap.
like, what? Like, isn't it like 6 hours until the game? Isn't it that far of a drive? Like, what?
Yeah.
So everybody's scrambling around, like getting their stuff together, calling the people that left, trying to get everybody back so we
Oh
can hop on this
man.
bus and drive.
Oh my
And
gosh.
turns out our plane never even showed up somehow to Norman or
Oh,
wherever we were flying out of. Our plane didn't show up. So we start to
right.
drive there. So much traffic. We're not even going to get there when the game starts. So they push the game back.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like we get stuck at a stoplight. Then some people jump off the bus to like get our duffel bags from under that has like our game stuff in it, throw it
Oh,
on the bus, and then it's like we're all changing on the bus, getting taped, doing as many stretches as we can
oh
because
my word.
they finally pushed the game back to 8, and that was the latest that the NCAA said, like, we can't
Oh,
push it back past this or you have to forfeit.
oh my
So it was
gosh.
like, no. So we're all
Oh,
getting ready and we're like, okay, we got 20 minutes to warm up when we get there, playing a top 10 team on the road. I think they were like
oh,
number 9.
yes.
And as soon what I don't nobody else really knows about this but players that were on that bus, but we're like probably 30 seconds away from the gym. It's pouring rain outside. We like start to turn and it's like we like hit a curb and just like our bus just goes like tips.
Oh
Like we
gosh.
thought it got so silent. We're like, what? Like we're
That's
all
too
looking at
much.
each other in shock. Like no way we're about to go play a game when we almost just flipped our bus over into the
Wow.
ravine. But that was
My
funny. And then we
word.
all hop off the bus. We're running in our jerseys. We put our shoes on. We go warm up, and then we go win. I think Liz made a bucket to win the game with like 2 or 3 seconds, something like that. A few
Holy
seconds left, and
smokes.
we win. It was crazy.
That
And
is insane.
it was my birthday that day because I remember that I was like, oh dang, this is about to be fun. We're gonna go get a road win,
Yeah.
and then it turned into a whole deal, and it was crazy.
That's crazy. I was going to ask, I was pretty sure that y'all won that game. So I'm glad
Yes,
to know that you did. After all of that, you
yes,
definitely deserved it.
we
Holy
had to, of
smokes. You did have to. And it was your birthday. So you really had to.
course, of course.
Well, with your birthday being during basketball season, I'm sure that you've had some great memories like that one and then possibly some not so great ones, but I hope they've been a little heavier on the good ones.
Yes, for sure. We even got one where we played at KU on my birthday,
Oh,
which was even
nice.
cooler. We got to play at Allen Fieldhouse. So that was cool.
Absolutely. That is super cool. That is super cool. Okay, well, I was trying to remember if there were any other teams that like stuck out to me from the Big 12. I know Iowa State women have recently become pretty good as well, but I lose track of all time. So,
Yeah.
and I think right now, of course, of Audie Crooks, she's still there.
Hmm.
So she's obviously a little bit younger than you, but during your time, was Iowa State Were they pretty good? I don't remember.
They were usually pretty good. Ashley
Okay.
Jones was,
Oh yes,
she's my
yes.
age, so she was
Okay, yes,
there all
yes,
those
yes.
years. I think Bridget
Okay.
Carlton was there. I know my freshman year, but I'm not sure if
Okay,
she was there
yes.
more than 1 year. But they were always
Okay.
pretty solid.
Okay, I was thinking so. I was thinking that it extended back further than just a handful of years. So, okay. Were there any other teams from the Big 12 that stuck out to you that I may not be thinking of because my brain's not working completely? Trying to think of them all right now.
I mean, I always like playing at K State, also just because
Okay.
close to home,
Well, yeah.
and it was always fun getting to play against them.
Yeah, that's cool. So, if you had gotten to play in the SEC, what would be like your dream place to go, arena to play in?
Ooh, that's tough. I think, I mean, okay, I have two.
Yeah.
So one, I would want to play at South Carolina.
Okay.
Obviously, they've been one of the greatest teams last few
Yes.
years. They've been
Yes.
pretty dominant. So it's hard not to want to, as a competitor, hard
Yes.
not to want to go play there and
For
against
sure.
them in their home gym. And then I think I would want to go to Rocky Top. I'd want to play at
Oh,
Tennessee.
yeah. Okay, that's a
All
good
the
one too.
history there, I think
Yes.
it'd be cool. I think it looks like a fun place to play.
That's cool. That's a good answer. Well, I figured you might say South Carolina. Of course, it's hard to not be in awe to some degree of Dawn Staley and what all she's done there, of course. But they're a fun team to watch, and they are
Yeah.
very talented. Big girls for sure. Very talented. So I'm
Yes.
excited they're coming to Norman this year. I can't imagine last year those girls going on the road there. And I mean, it has to be a little intimidating. I mean, it's exciting, obviously, but intimidating, of course. And I'm sure it was so loud in there. I remember watching that on
Yeah.
TV. So I'm glad they're coming to Norman this year. I really hope that OU fans can show out and be loud and give
Yep.
them heck for sure. So
Pack the
okay,
LNC.
absolutely. Well, obviously they're capable of doing it. I've talked about this many times, but we saw it with that game against Iowa in the tournament, and that was incredible to see it packed out and how loud it was, and of course Coach Jenny's win against her alma mater and all that.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, Sooner fans, we've seen what you can do, so we need to see it again a whole bunch this coming season for
Yeah. Let's
sure.
just do that all the time.
That's what
Why
I'm
not?
saying. I do not know why we can't do that all the time.
One.
And it goes both ways. I know even for the men, sometimes I talked a little bit about this with Tyler Neal from the franchise radio, but just how a lot of times, especially like with our men last season, they started off really strong and then just kind of tanked when conference season came, and then they rebounded and fared fairly well. But obviously, of course, both programs want to do better this coming season and go further than they did.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are, and I don't mean it disrespectfully, but like fair weather, I guess you could say, like, oh well, I don't want to go because they're not winning, or it's not as exciting in there, or whatever. And that's just not me. I don't understand that. I'm like, heck, I want to go. I
Yeah.
wish I could go to every sporting event for every sport and just be there all the time, but that's not humanly possible. And I don't even live in Norman. I live closer to the Texas border, so I don't have season basketball tickets, but I always get the mini packs, so I'll make it to several
Gotcha.
games. But it, I mean, I get that it's hard and it's an investment and it's time and money and all the things. But I wish I could go to more. But I don't understand these people that have an opportunity or the time or whatever. Like, just go, just show up,
Yeah.
because I mean, it means so much to you guys as players to have people watching you. And I've talked to a lot of athletes from a lot of different sports, and I talked to a tennis player who's from Africa, and that one always sticks out to me because he's like, I don't have any family here. I don't have any friends here. So I feed off of the fans that
Yep.
come. And I'm sure you understand that. You think the same thing. Like, we need people there to fill up the stands and be loud and put the pressure on the other team, of course,
Yep.
but to cheer on you guys, because it's a big difference when you're playing, going back to COVID, when there was nobody or maybe very
Yeah.
few people there. I'm sure that was a big
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. I mean, they always say home court advantage, so got to
Yeah,
make the LNC the toughest place to play in the country. It's
absolutely.
definitely, the fans probably don't even realize how much of an impact that they have on the players and just everybody involved.
Yes,
But they make a huge difference in the outcome of games, whether they realize it or not. They think they're just
yeah,
coming to watch, but they're like kind of like how Jenny says, they're actively participating in the game just
absolutely.
as much as everybody on the floor is. So it's
Yeah.
very important to see the stands packed every night.
Yes, for sure. Well, I'm glad to have any opportunity to point that out and remind people because I think it's very important. And
Yep.
I understand it's hard to make all the things, but getting there and being loud and watching and supporting is very important. So, okay, so I did one thing I almost forgot that I wanted to ask you about was your state championship in high school. Tell me a little bit about that because that had to have been super exciting, of course.
Very exciting. So my school, we're 4A. McPherson is
Uh-huh.
4A. There's a few private schools that are always really good. One of them is actually Peyton Verhulst's school, and
Mm-hmm.
that's who we played in the state championship game. They had won the last 4 state titles
Oh my gosh.
in 4A, so going into it, we knew it was going to be a big challenge. We were down 9 with 2 minutes left in the game, came back, tied it with like 13 or 14 seconds left, got a stop, sent it to overtime,
Oh
and then
my
we ended up
gosh.
winning. I hit free throws to put us up 4, and
Wow.
it was one of the best. Everybody always says from around here that that's one of the best games that they've ever seen. It
Wow.
was crazy. It's like it was meant to be. And I always would kind of brag a little bit to Peyton that we got her and her sister in that
Yes.
game. But then she ended up winning 2 or 3 more after. So she has more state titles than me, but I'm just glad we got that. I'm just glad we got that one.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, it sounds like that one was meant to be. Where did you guys play that game?
It was in Salina. It used to be a Bicentennial Center. It's called, I
Okay.
think, like Tony's Pizza Arena or something
Oh
now.
yeah, okay.
But so it's like less than 30 minutes from my hometown. So it
Oh
was
nice.
all McPherson. So it was a home game, and it was really cool,
That's
big
awesome.
arena.
Yeah.
It was really exciting.
How cool. Well, like you said, that one was meant to be, so I'm glad you got that one. And Peyton got some other ones, so we're still
Yep,
good.
yep. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, fast forward back to present day. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're up to now? I know you said you played professionally in Germany for a bit, and now you're the TikTok trick star. So you want to talk a little bit about whatever you want to.
Okay, so well, I did play in Germany right after I was done at OU. I played there for 1 season. We were pretty good. We
Uh-huh.
ended up being third in the German league, which
Oh,
was
nice.
really good for that team because the
Mm-hmm.
year before they kind of struggled a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
we played pretty well throughout the year. And since then, I have not played on another team yet. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still kind of waiting for the phone call to be able to go play somewhere else, but I'm still kind of staying ready, working out every day,
Good.
getting my
Yeah.
shots up. So I'm just hoping that the next time to go play is sooner rather than later.
Yes.
In the meantime, I've been doing some trick shots. I post them on TikTok. So some are better than others. Some are not very good. Some are kind of fun. Some are stupid, but I enjoy doing that.
That's awesome.
I also do basketball training with kids around here,
Awesome.
which I really enjoy doing that because I want to
Yeah.
coach someday.
Awesome.
I coached an AAU team this summer, which was also really fun, and I just want to play as long as I can until it's time to coach.
Absolutely. I don't blame you at all. One thing, though, that does make me sad about a lot of women's sports, obviously, but basketball is definitely getting there, is opportunities to play after college. And the WNBA has come a long way in the last handful of years, but it obviously still has a way to go. But I know that there are opportunities out there for you guys. I think Maddie Williams, I know she's played some overseas as
Yep.
well. Yeah, I know overseas has a lot of opportunities and everything, but I wish that there were more opportunities for you guys because I feel like, especially for yourself and quite a few other OU girls I can think of, like you guys have a lot of talent and a lot of desire to give, and I hope that you find a place to do that soon for sure.
Thank you. I hope so too. But
Yeah.
it's really cool being able to see the growth of
Yes.
the WNBA here, and then hopefully it just keeps getting
Yes.
more and more momentum and keeps getting a little
Yes.
bit bigger just to give everybody more opportunities because it's fun to watch.
Yes, I agree. And like I said, it has grown quite a bit just in the last handful of years. And I know that certain players have maybe played a larger role in that. And that's fine. I'm not trying to take that away from them by any means. But it's just cool to see the league as a whole. And when you see other people with money and time investing into the WNBA and saying, hey, we're going to put more games on more accessible networks, that's a great place to start because
Yep.
I know it's difficult to follow. And even pro softball is the same way. We can follow online and all of that, but to have it more accessible sure would be nice. So
Yep.
Fingers crossed that more of that happens in the future. So
Yes, I think it
well,
will. It will.
I think so too. I think obviously the talent is there and people are starting to see that, and the desire, and the people that want to watch are like, "Hey, I'm here. I want to watch this." So it's definitely there. So that's a good sign for sure.
Yes.
Well, is there anything else you want to mention or talk about before I let you go?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We covered just about everything on the list, and maybe a few more things. So, but again, I just thank you so much for giving me part of your time.